The Earth breathes here in the sweltering humidity of the South American floodplain, a landscape ruled not by the jaguar or the caiman, but by a force far more relentless, a legion of conquerors born from the soil itself. The red imported fire ant, Solenopsis invicta, a name that whispers of invincibility, of a fire that cannot be extinguished. We begin in the dark, the subterranean labyrinth, where the air is stale and thick with the scent of pheromones, a chemical language as complex as any spoken tongue, guiding millions of blind sisters in a synchronized dance of duty and death. Here in the heart of the colony, the queen rests, a titan among her daughters, an egg-laying machine pulsing with the future of the empire, her abdomen swollen, glistening, a living factory producing thousands of lives a day, each one destined to serve, to fight, to die for the glory of the superorganism. The soil above begins to tremble, not with an earthquake, but with the collective movement of the swarm, a red tide rising from the depths as the morning sun pierces the canopy, heating the earth and stirring the colony into a frenzy of activity. The workers emerging like blood welling up from a wound in the ground, their reddish-brown bodies armored in chitin, mandibles clicking, antennae waving, tasting the air for danger, for food, for the scent of an enemy. They are small, barely a fraction of an inch, yet together they possess a terrifying intelligence, a hive mind that calculates risk and reward with cold precision, surging forward over blades of grass that to them are towering redwoods, navigating a jungle of roots and pebbles, a vast chaotic world that they are determined to subdue. Watch as a scout stumbles upon a fallen fledgling, a tragedy for the bird but a bounty for the ants. The scout rushing back, laying a chemical trail, a highway of scent that screams food to her sisters. And within moments, the trickle of ants becomes a torrent, a river of red flowing over the feathers. The beak, the eyes, mandibles tearing at flesh with surgical efficiency, dismantling the bird atom by atom, carrying pieces back to the darkness below. A gruesome yet efficient recycling of life that fuels the insatiable hunger of the colony. But this world is not without its perils, for the fire ant is an invader here, but also a native warrior in its homeland, constantly besieged by Phorid flies, tiny dive-bombing assassins that hover above the marching lines, waiting for a moment of weakness to inject an egg into the ant's thorax, a death sentence that will eventually cause the ant's head to fall off. A macabre cycle of parasitism that keeps the invincible in check, forcing the ants into a defensive posture, freezing, hiding, their chaotic dominance momentarily paused by the shadow of a gnat. The narrative shifts as the seasons turn, the sky darkening with the heavy bruise of storm clouds, the air growing heavy with the promise of a deluge, and the colony senses the change in barometric pressure, a warning signal that triggers an ancient survival protocol. For the floodplains are a treacherous home where the ground can disappear beneath a wall of water in an hour. As the rain begins to fall, shattering the silence, turning the dust to mud, then to soup, the water level rises, swallowing the nest, flooding the tunnels, drowning the carefully curated chambers of the brood. But the fire ants do not panic. They do not scatter. Instead, they come together, linking legs, hooking tarsal claws, weaving their own bodies into a living raft, a hydrophobic marvel of engineering that floats upon the rising tide. The queen is ushered to the center, the safest point, surrounded by layers of workers, the brood held high in the mandibles of the nurses, dry and safe above the swirling, murky water, the entire colony transformed into a floating island of red, drifting on the current, a ball of defiance refusing to sink, rotating slowly so that no single ant is submerged for too long, a testament to the power of cooperation, of the individual sacrifice for the whole. They drift for days, hungry, exposed, a tempting snack for fish and turtles, yet dangerous to consume, their bodies packed with alkaloid venom, a burning fire that blisters skin and shuts down nervous systems, a chemical defense that says do not touch, do not eat, fear us. Eventually the raft strikes solid ground, a new shore, a foreign land perhaps, or just higher ground, and the colony disembarks flowing onto the mud like oil, instantly scouting, digging, rebuilding. The workers excavating the soil with manic energy, reconstructing the complex architecture of the nest within hours. Tunnels spiraling down, chambers hollowed out, the queen re-established in her royal chamber, the egg-laying resuming before the mud is even dry. This resilience is what makes them terrifying. This ability to lose everything and rebuild it overnight, to adapt, to float, to sting, to conquer new lands where they have no natural predators, spreading across the globe in the holds of ships, in the soil of potted plants, an invisible invasion that has turned them into a global super-pest, displacing native species, blinding livestock, scarring humans, a red plague that marches relentlessly across continents. But look closer, zoom in until the red blur resolves into individuals. And you see the care, the tenderness with which a nurse ant grooms a larva, cleaning it, feeding it regurgitated liquid. A gentle touch amidst the violence. A reminder that this biological machine is driven by the drive to nurture as much as the drive to destroy. You see the major workers, the soldiers with their oversized heads, standing guard at the tunnel entrances, living blockers ready to snap their jaws on anything that tries to enter. The distinct castes working in perfect harmony, a caste system determined not by birthright, but by diet and pheromones, a plastic destiny where a lowly larva can become a mighty soldier or a fertile queen depending on the needs of the colony. As the sun sets, painting the sky in shades of purple and orange, the colony does not sleep, for the work is never done. The foraging continues under the cloak of night, the temperature dropping, the pace slowing but never stopping. The sentries still patrolling, the queen still laying, the heart of the colony beating in the darkness, a rhythm of life that has persisted for millions of years, surviving ice ages and meteor strikes, floods and fires. They are the masters of the soil, the architects of the underworld, the red fire that burns beneath our feet, a reminder that while we may build cities of concrete and steel, the earth still belongs to the small, the many, the relentless, the invincible. And as the camera pulls back, rising high above the field, the mounds are visible as scars on the land, a constellation of colonies stretching to the horizon, a silent subterranean empire that is always awake, always hungry, always waiting for the next opportunity to rise, to swarm, to conquer, the enduring legacy of the red imported fire ant.